the acting police chief of Dalton, now facing federal charges. The grand jury indicted him on bankruptcy fraud charges today.
So Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on now.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard last night wasting no time shutting down trustees and critics.
The veto message is related to the secret squirrel music.
At an emergency meeting, the Board of Trustees voted to adopt a resolution calling for a federal investigation into the actions of Mayor Tiffany Henyard. This resolution was the result of growing concerns about Henyard's management of Dalton's finances and her increasingly lavish lifestyle. Residents of the town had begun to question her priorities as the town's financial situation deteriorated under her leadership. Instead of focusing on the needs of the community, the mayor seemed more interested in personal luxuries. The board's decision to push for a federal probe into her actions was seen as a crucial step toward uncovering the truth and holding her accountable for any wrongdoing. It signaled a turning point in the town's efforts to address the situation and restore public trust. The investigation into Henyard's conduct began with a shocking discovery involving the town's assessor, Elon. When she arrived at work one morning, she found her office locked, and the sensitive documents she had kept there were scattered throughout the common area. These documents had previously been securely stored under lock and key, and their sudden disappearance raised immediate concerns about the mayor's actions. This unusual and troubling incident quickly caught the attention of federal authorities, who launched an investigation into Henyard's activities. What initially appeared to be a small issue was the tip of the iceberg, leading to a series of revelations that would change the course of the town's future.
A great day in Dalton. Justice is being served.
Elston has been the assessor here at Thornton Township for the past 10 years, an elected position that helps residents deal with exemptions and property tax appeals. But when she arrived at work this morning, something strange happened.
This was your office?
Yes.
What happened when you tried to open it?
It doesn't work.
Not only had Elston been locked out of her own office, but boxes of sensitive documents that she kept in her office were spread around the common area.
This was under lock and key before.
This was under lock and key.
And now it's just out in the open?
As the federal investigation into Henyard's conduct progressed, the extent of her misuse of public funds became apparent. The mayor had been living a life of luxury, using taxpayer money to finance extravagant shopping trips, expensive vacations, and a costly security detail that far exceeded what was necessary for her position. While the town was struggling financially, with growing debt and a budget crisis, Henyard seemed completely indifferent to the town's economic hardships. Instead of focusing on her duties as mayor and addressing the financial issues facing Dalton, she had been spending public money on her personal indulgences. This misuse of funds was a central point of the investigation and became a source of outrage for the residents, who felt betrayed by the mayor they had elected to serve their interests. The investigation into Henyard took a dramatic turn when federal agents executed search warrants at her home. What they discovered was beyond anyone's expectations. Hidden away in safes, agents found a treasure trove of assets and wealth that Henyard had been concealing. This discovery only deepened the mystery surrounding her actions and raised further questions about the extent of her corruption. It became clear that Henyard had not only been living beyond her means, but she had also been hiding large amounts of money that should have been accounted for in the town's budget. The investigation revealed that Henyard had used her position of power to enrich herself at the expense of Dalton's residents, creating a mountain of debt for the town in the process. As more evidence emerged, the scale of her financial misconduct became undeniable.
Thornton Township have trust issues, refusing to second a motion by Tiffany Henyard to get routine township bills paid.
I motion that we pay the bills for the general fund. Is there a second? Motion is second.
I had trouble following it as well, but now Keith Freeman is cooperating, doing what he should have been done in the first place.
Cooperating with trustees.
With the trustees, absolutely.
The growing scandal and the mounting evidence against Henyard led to a shift in the political landscape of Dalton. The Board of Trustees, once supportive of the mayor, began to distance themselves from her. They refused to follow her directives and made it clear that they no longer trusted her leadership. This was a significant blow to Henyard's political career, as the support of the board had been essential to her power. The community, too, had begun to lose confidence in her ability to lead. The once popular mayor was now facing widespread disapproval, and public sentiment had turned against her. The residents of Dalton, who had once placed their trust in her, were now demanding answers and accountability for the damage that had been done. Henyard's political future seemed uncertain as the investigation continued and the pressure on her grew. In an attempt to regain control of the situation, Henyard called a town meeting, hoping to reclaim some measure of authority. However, the meeting quickly turned into a humiliating spectacle. Not a single member of the Board of Trustees showed up, a clear message of their disapproval of her leadership. Henyard, undeterred, attempted to turn the situation into a drama, claiming that the hostility she faced was part of a larger effort to undermine her. She tried to deflect the blame onto others, asserting that her leadership had been too powerful for some to handle. But her words fell on deaf ears. One guest even interrupted her, accusing her directly of stealing from the people of Dalton. Henyard continued her speech as if nothing had happened, but it was evident that the tide was turning against her. The people of Dalton were no longer willing to listen to her excuses, and the investigation into her actions was only intensifying. The mounting evidence of Henyard's financial misconduct had far-reaching consequences for her political career. The FBI's investigation had uncovered an astonishing amount of evidence showing that Henyard and her associates had run up over $67,000 in travel expenses on the town's tab in just 5 months. These charges, which were made using Dalton taxpayer funds, continued to grow, eventually reaching nearly $100,000 when additional charges related to the town's residents were included. This revelation was a tipping point for the residents, who had already grown tired of the mayor's behavior. They had trusted her to lead the town, but instead, she had used her position to enrich herself at their expense. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Henyard's lavish lifestyle had been financed by the very people she was supposed to serve.
Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for.
Amidst these investigations, Henyard's leadership has become increasingly erratic. The community has expressed anger over her refusal to step down, with many calling for her resignation. A rally in Thornton Township demonstrated the growing frustration among residents, demanding answers and transparency regarding the misuse of taxpayer dollars. Allegations also emerged that Henyard had used the police department to stifle criticism and punish her opponents. One of her former assistants even accused her of mishandling complaints of harassment, further tarnishing her reputation. Despite these revelations, Henyard has continued to downplay the severity of the situation, even mocking those who have spoken out against her. The drama surrounding Henyard's administration shows no signs of ending. As more whistleblowers come forward, the pressure on Henyard mounts. One former assistant, Carvin Carlisle, has stepped forward, accusing Henyard of manipulating the system to her benefit, exploiting her authority to advance her personal interests while presenting a false image of prosperity. This revelation has added fuel to the fire, as many now see Henyard as a symbol of corruption and abuse of power. With investigations ongoing and a growing number of victims coming forward, Henyard's political future appears uncertain. The public demands accountability, and as the scandal unfolds, the community remains divided over her ability to weather the storm and retain power.